last night that the business pioneer, the business leader Jabu Mabuza has passed on. We understand as a result of COVID-19. He played a huge role in pioneering business, starting as a taxi owner, eventually becoming the chair of Eskom and the chair of Telkom, but also for a long time was the chair of Business Unity South Africa and Business Leadership South Africa. Sipho Pityana is the current chair of Business Unity South Africa. He joins us now. Mr. Pityana, good afternoon to you. You must have known Jabu Mabuza well. This is a huge loss to our business community and, in fact, to our nation.
Stephen, good afternoon to you and your viewers. Indeed, this is a great loss. I, at the outset, on behalf of my business colleagues, wish to convey our heartfelt condolences to Sipho, his wife and children, as well as the rest of the family and his friends and colleagues. Jabu was larger than life. It's hard to imagine him still and saying nothing and lifeless.
It's also hard to imagine him without that hat that he would wear in most meetings.
His iconic hat, which actually was a statement that spoke to whence he came, and he made a point of donning it in a way that reminded all of us of his background.
He must have had a smart business brain. To be able to do what he did, he must have been able not only to spot opportunities, but he could make things happen. I mean, not everybody has that. He had that. He could make things happen.
Well, Jabu was admirable in his entrepreneurship. He certainly sought out opportunities, and when they presented themselves, took full advantage of those. His journey of life as an entrepreneur, his ability to operate in that space successfully, and at the same time adapt to mainstream corporate environment and be a leader of some of South Africa's blue chip corporates says something, not only as an executive, but also as a director and chair of some of the leading boards of leading brands in our country. That says something about his personality, his agility, his ability to operate in different and varied environments.
He also wasn't scared of a difficult job. I mean, we forget sometimes how Telkom was viewed by members of the public. Some of us will still remember listening to their hold music in our ear on the phone when the system didn't work. He was happy to go and help Sipho Pityana there. He was happy to go and help at Eskom as well, also one of the toughest places in the country to be. I mean, he wasn't afraid of taking on the big jobs.
Absolutely. Very few will remember that when he took over Telkom, in fact, there were ructions at governance level on the board, and he assumed leadership, changed the board. I think it's his leadership that appointed the current very successful CEO and executive leadership that has made a success of that enterprise. And he's been that in different areas of his work. He's led Tsuhosan with great success, and he became chairman of Sun International. He's been in the gaming and gambling sector for a considerable period of time and has made a success of it. He's been on the board of SA Breweries. So these are such diverse sectors of the economy, and in each of those, he's made a success of them.
He also led organized business during a very tough time, and I'm talking about when Jacob Zuma was president. You'll remember that, Sipho Pityana. I mean, there was real contestation between business and government. You were sort of involved in all of that. There was, to my knowledge, at least one very difficult meeting where business spoke quite frankly to the then president. The point I'm making is that Jabu Mabuza had political bravery.
Well, Jabu took over the leadership of Business Leadership South Africa, having been the president of BUSA, and he held both positions at a time which I guess marked a change in the relationship that had been cultivated post-apartheid between business and government in particular. So the days of cozying up and trying to find each other and the politeness in smoke-filled environments was over, and in many ways business was quite frustrated with a sense that the economy was getting deeper and deeper into trouble. Very few will remember now that among the things that he did, he established the CEO initiative, which, by the way, sought to bring an assembly of top executives to think about what kinds of things we need to do to help reposition the country, notwithstanding the fact that we had a difficult government. Managed to persuade the Minister of Finance was at the time Pravin Gordhan, who was a very good, steady partner with him, and they persuaded the unions to work together with them to go to the international markets at a time when we were facing sovereign rating downgrade. The markets were very upset with what was going on. It was quite clear that the country had been taken over by rogues, and to persuade them to stay and not write us off. And those were difficult conversations, both with government and with the international investor community. And that was out of loyalty not only to the cause of business, but also that of the country, understanding that we needed to work together, even as we differed, to make sure that we put our best foot forward to protect the interests of the country. But of course, the difficulty of the conversation also invariably straddled into business having to take a stand against state capture. He led a group of CEOs and senior business leaders in a way that was unprecedented. I remember a rally that I convened at St. Albans Church in Pretoria under the auspices of Save South Africa, where a range of societal organizations and formations gathered to express our objection to rampant corruption and state capture. That leadership was no mean feat, because business doesn't like being caught in the middle of politics. And that shift was so fundamental that business thinks and finds it natural now to comment on difficult issues that we face as a country.
I remember that so clearly. It was such an important moment. He played such an important role at that time. So did you, sir. Sipho Pityana, I really do appreciate the time. Thank you very much indeed. Head of Business Unity South Africa there.